Hey everyone, it's the Ioniq guy, and in today's video I'm going to be demonstrating to you guys one of the coolest features of the Hyundai Ioniq 5 Limited trim, which is Remote Smart Parking Assist. Now for those who aren't familiar, Remote Smart Parking Assist allows you to either remotely or from within your car perpendicular park into a parking spot or parallel park within a parking spot. It also allows you to control forward and reverse into, say, a tight parking spot in a garage. It also has a feature called Smart Exit, which helps you get out of a very tight parallel parking spot. So we'll test all these features out, see if they're any good, see if they're worth even your time, because a lot of people that have been driving for a long time can pretty quickly parallel park a car. I know I can. And if you live in a city, you definitely can. So if you're interested in finding out more, stay tuned. So based on some videos that I've watched other people doing and reading the manual, it seems like it's a very capable system. It does have quite a few limitations and specific situations where it won't function. So it might not work all the time, but if you want to try it, give it a try. So I'm going to go ahead, hold down the parking search function, and I'm just going to slowly drive forward until it tells me to stop, saying it found a spot. Okay, so it says it found a spot. I'm going to go ahead and click the reverse perpendicular. Take my hands off the wheel. I'm going to click Smart Parking. It says take your hands off the wheel and then press and hold the parking view button. Release brake pedal. And we'll see what it does here. Now, obviously, you can see there's no parking lines in my mother's driveway. So maybe that makes it more challenging for it, but it's doing pretty good so far. And it's actually minding the grass as well. It's not pulling up onto the lawn for extra room. Now, the manual does specifically say that if you are parking next to a single car, it will go over the next vehicle over's lane lines. So if it does that, don't be surprised. There you have it, parking completed. That was actually pretty good. So you can see it gave me a pretty nicely spaced spot, just enough room to get the doors open. So now we'll go ahead and we'll try it remotely where I get out of the car and let it do its thing. So I'm going to go ahead, put the car in drive, hold down the parking button, checking for parking spaces again. Stop. And we'll do remote parking this time. So shift to park, leave the vehicle, keep the smart key, close all doors, press and hold the forward and back button on the smart key when it tells you to, I guess. So this is the first time I'm trying it, so we'll find out right now. So you do have to stay within 13 feet of the car for it to do its thing. So you can hold either the forward or the reverse button on the key fob and it'll still move forward and backwards doing whatever it needs to do. Okay, so apparently after it completes, when you are outside of the car, it automatically shuts it off. And that's pretty nice because you really don't have any need to get back in the car, I guess, unless you're unloading bags or something. So if that's the case, then it's not ideal. But if you're just getting out of the car and walking away, then it seems like it's doing what it should. Again, it pretty much perfectly spaced the cars out, so did a good job. I'm pretty impressed. Now let's try parallel parking with one car, and we'll try parallel parking with two cars. Searching for parking spot. I'm only going 5 miles per hour. There we go. So there is the parallel parking option. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. Smart parking, take hands off the wheel, press and hold the button, release the brake pedal. It is nice that it puts the hazards on for you, so that actually worked quite well. I would probably parallel park a little bit faster, but if you're not good at parallel parking, that's definitely faster than most people who are novices could do it. So that worked pretty well. So now let's try it remotely from outside the car. Got the button down, searching for space. Okay, found one. Hit the button, remote parking, shift to P, and we'll get out of the vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down the button. All right, so it's completed. It's fairly in line with the car in front of it. So it's not perfectly in line with the car in front of it, but I'm also not giving it the best case scenario where there's a curb and there's a whole line of cars for it to make judgments on. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that it's probably more than capable of doing this in a real world setting, not this staged setting in a driveway. Okay, so let's try the parallel parking into a relatively tight space. So I've got the button on, searching for a spot. I don't want to park there, I want to park between. Okay, so it senses the spot. Gonna go in. It's very cautious about how far back it goes and gets to the back car. I would have personally gone a lot closer and made this a much easier parking job, but it's going to do what it's going to do. Okay, so it says it's done. So it's a fairly decent parking job. I would have done it a lot better. But again, this isn't a true real world situation, so the cars aren't lined up right next to the curb like they would be. But I've seen the way a lot of people parallel park, and a lot of people don't know how close to get to a curb, and they're 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet off the curb. So this is definitely on par with those people, but not as good as I would do personally. So now that we've parallel parked, we should be able to use the safe exit feature, which if you power off the car, go and do something, come back, power the car on. If you go into the parking, it will allow you to use this feature to exit the parking spot. So we'll say we want to go this direction. Press and hold the parking view button. So now it's going to slowly shimmy us out of the parking spot and get us onto the road again. Now I'm assuming you are responsible for monitoring traffic on the side of the car. So you should probably have your foot ready because it's probably going to tell you to take over here. Yep. So then you can just take over and do the rest. So there's an example of safe exit paired with automatic parallel parking. Another feature I would like to demonstrate is how you could use the remote function on the key fob to pull your car into, say, a tight garage, like this one here. This garage is notorious for taking off side view mirrors because it's extremely tight to get through, and then the second you're back out, you can see the grass line is in line with the car. So then you have to immediately cut the wheel, but you can't cut the wheel too much because there's a garden there and a sidewalk. So it's just a really poorly designed garage. So I'm going to go ahead, remotely start the car by locking it, holding down the bottom button. Now it is started. And let's see what happens if I push the forward button. I lined the car up fairly decently. I wanted to see if it would turn the wheels at all. But you have to be within 13 feet of the car. It really doesn't want to do it, and I'm not sure why. It might be sensing the stairs here on the right side. No, just won't do it. This garage isn't going to work for it. Oh, wait, I spoke too soon. It's coming in. I just hope it doesn't take something off. All right, it's straightening out. Wow. It actually did it. So if you hit the bottom button again, it will turn the car off. I'm actually fairly impressed. For a second there, it was readjusting the wheels to straighten it out, and then it eventually got it in. It did have to think about it for a few seconds there, but then it eventually found the correct orientation to be in to get in the garage. So I guess it works. If this is a use case for you, then it might be a nice feature to have. So getting into this garage is the easy part. Getting out is the hard part. So let's see how it handles that. So we'll lock it again, remote start, and we'll go ahead and hit the reverse button. So it just straightened out the wheels. It's a little close on the driver's side, but it's getting out. Yeah, it did it. so it can get itself out. It wouldn't go any further because, like I said, the grass on the sidewalk are right there, and apparently it didn't want to cut the wheel too much, but yeah, it can get out as well. So there you have it, folks. Those are the remote smart park features of the Ioniq 5. These features only exist on the limited trim here in the United States. I'm not sure how it's packaged all over the rest of the world, but they could be useful features, especially if you do a lot of city driving and aren't great at parallel parking. But if you do rely on this, you're never going to get better at doing it yourself. So I don't know. I think people should be able to do it themselves if they're a driver. But if you're older, you have trouble turning your head or whatever, mobility issues, then it might be a good feature for you to have. So anyway, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.